So it's been almost a week since the last time that we did a video. It was the holiday of Shavuos from Tuesday evening until Thursday evening. Then the next day was like the after day. It's kind of like still holiday vibes plus getting ready for the Sabbath. And then Shabbos was yesterday. So today the idea is that I'm going to talk about identity mind and like how a Jewish identity or a modest identity or kind of like an identity of someone who wants to bring the Messianic age, like identity really. So first thing, let's just choose one example of identity. Different permutations of our identity. So what am I doing to bring Mashiach, which is personal Mashiach, the individual, and also the collective Mashiach, which is also the Messianic age. There are tons of interpretations and opinions and teachings from various scholars and rabbis and sages. So how do we make it real? We have to really connect with our identity. Our identity supports us. Each permutation of our identity supports us in all aspects of our life. So you could choose something. What am I doing to X? If this is what my mission is, or if this is what I'm told is what I'm supposed to be focused on, or if this is what matters the most to me. Okay, so starting with knowing what the materials we work, just leaning back to be comfortable. I don't want to fall, so okay. Knowing what the materials we work with can do. This is the standards, the selections, being introduced to more. Oh, by the way, I'm speaking in a general way so that you can apply this to anything. Okay, knowing what the materials we work with can do. By the standards, by the selections, being introduced to more complex combinations, creating space for progress, spiritual, special environment, storage and concerns about damage and inventory, light, natural exhibition, safety, personal preferences, trusting intuition, music, mood, focus, relax, stimulate, undistracted time, extension, constriction, fluidity and control, structure and surrender, supportive, reflexive, supportive processes, playfulness in the timid, and expression in restraint. Foundation of exploration, blank space, surface area, multimedia options. Good working rules, generalizations to rely on, can collect, can salvage, can earn. Blending, mixing, tools, overlap, fixatives, smudging, ventilation, hard and soft tips, some wear out, some break, and others can sustain and yield. Solubility and spontaneity, non-toxic, synthetic, easy to clean, size, price, flimsy or thick. So there's an art to bringing Mashiach, if you can't tell. I'm going to also segue a little into the 12 permutations of the Tetragrammaton. So God has the one Yud and the He and the Vav and the He. There's 4 letters. In English, they're written as YHWH. This is in no way related to the actual letters because the actual letters of Hebrew are symbols and also have numerical value and represent the life force energy itself coming into that which is manifested. So there's 12 months and there's 12 permutations. Since there's 2 letters that are the same, you have to also recognize that we would technically, if there were 4 different letters, like if the second letter and the fourth letter were not both a He, we would have a lot more combinations. Think of DNA where you have the ACTP. So ACTG. Let's make sure. Okay, Google, what are the 4 nucleotides in DNA?
On the website cancer.gov, they say, these chemical bonds act like rungs in a ladder and help hold the 2 strands of DNA together. There are 4 nucleotides, or bases, in DNA, adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine.
Yeah, ACTG. Yeah, and they pair together.
Look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
Just wanted to confirm. Okay, so as we...
Google can improve. Was that information helpful?
So anyway, with the 12 permutations, we have to recognize if you have 2 letters that are the same, you have less combinations because...
I don't see any Chromecasts or cast-enabled TVs linked to your account. You can add devices.
Okay, Google, stop talking. So if you have, let's say, A, B, C, D, you would have many more combinations than if you had A, B, C, B, because you wouldn't know which B was in which place. You would have less combinations where B is doubled. So many times the second B is where the first B was, but you can't tell the difference because it just looks like B, and so the codes are not as many. So anyway, that's an explanation of why we only have 12. So each month, I'll just do a rundown. So I'll start with Nisan. Nisan, you have it in the right order: Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey. Then in Sivan, and I'm allowed to say it when it's not in the right order. So then you have Yud, Vav, Hey, Hey, which is the month. Actually, after Nisan you have Iyar. I skipped one. Yud, Hey, Hey, Vav. So that's from Iyar. That was the last month. We're now in Sivan, which is Yud, Vav, Hey, Hey. Tammuz, which is next month. Hey, Vav, Hey, Yud. Av, the following month. Hey, Vav, Yud, Hey. Elul, Hey, Hey, Vav, Yud. Tishrei, Vav, Hey, Yud, Hey. Cheshvan, Vav, Hey, Hey, Yud. Kislev, Vav, Yud, Hey, Hey. Teves, Hey, Yud, Hey, Vav. Shvat, Hey, Yud, Vav, Hey. And then my birthday month, which was just a few months ago, but for next year at least, or for every year, Hey, Hey, Yud, Vav. So we could see that even when you just have 4 pieces, as they combine and recombine, you can have various different orders. So I want to talk about identity mind here, and then like how to look at a protectional sort of spiritual, like the spirit work. So I'm going to use Jewish spirit work. So we'll start with identity mind. And I'm going to use some examples from Keith Johnstone in this book, Impro. Soft, warm, medium-sized abdomen center region. This is a self-satisfied, earthy, heavy. It's a bit humorous. Then we have a tiny, hard center tip of the nose. Remember, this is identity mind. Are we in the tip of our nose? Are we in our stomach, right? This is curious, prying, even inquisitive or meddlesome, like a little sharp tip. Or one of the eyes, we would have, it's a tiny center tip, right? It's sly, cunning. It could even be hypocritical because it's looking out rather than looking in. Or it doesn't have 2 eyes to balance, one looking in, one looking out, in other words. A big, heavy, dull, sloppy center outside the seat of the pants. This is like the butt. This is like the tush. There's not a lot of nerves there. It's mostly fat. And when you're very skinny, it's not so much fat, but it's still an area on the body which is just not that like, not like your fingers, not like your lips. So we would say it's like cowardly, droll, not too honest. When someone feels embarrassed, they're called embarrassed. They've been asked to the ass has been bare. Don't like to talk like that, but just to use the word. There's a center a few feet outside of the eyes, the forehead. This can invoke a sensation of sharpening, penetrating, a sagacious mind, like sage-like mind. So think about this a few feet in front of your eyes or the forehead. And then this warm, hot, fiery center throughout the heart. This is heroic, courageous, loving feeling. So think about what we're doing here. We're saying, if I bring my identity to my heart, I can have a type of identity. And these can all combine in different orders, right? These are just ideas. Then we have this swaying, movable center slowly before the forehead. And time to time, it circles the head. This is like bewilderment. When someone feels bewildered, it's like, ooh, whew. People say my head's spinning. When we call someone hot-blooded, we're talking about the heart, right? So these all, we talk about it in our day-to-day. When there's a moving, circling center, circling the body irregularly in varying tempos, up and down. It's like... this iteration almost, like he calls it interrogation. Interrogation. It's like oh my gosh, not interrogation, intoxication. I can't believe I was like trying to read. I'm like, it calls it interrogation. Okay. I was thinking it doesn't sound familiar to me. Intoxication. That's when the room is spinning, right? Oh, that makes so much more sense. When the room is spinning, when we feel high, when we feel out of our body, it's like It's like it's like we're intoxicated. I want to talk about like I mentioned, the protectional Jewish spirit work. So the kippah or the yarmulke, which comes from the word yiras malchus, which is fear of heaven, is like a crown, a cover. It's for, and that's for the men. Another thing for the men is tzitzis, which are the 4 strings from the garment and the corners, payas, which are sideburns, tefillin, which is the adornment between the eyes and on the arm, and it goes around the head, and it goes, for the left arm for the heart, and the head to the heart, and the head could be connected with God, and then the beard, not to cut the beard. But for everyone, you have kosher in the home. You have to be cautious outside the home, not touching or imagining or speaking sexually unless in the realm of the permitted, which is holy and sanctified. Charity, tithing. Now about money. Charity, tithing, helping with time and energy. If you don't have the money, or if money's not needed, then we have modesty in action, appearance, mannerisms, and words. We have not needing credit or honor from others. The accounters or the judges, like not making others be our accounters or judges, letting God be that. Educating the children and learning Torah daily. In Hebrew, we call this chinuch, which is like inauguration of the child. We have circumcision of the extra. This is the denial breeding ground. The foreskin, or we could say the circumcision of the heart, of the tongue. Commitment to one, with people leading the way. And we also have tribes, shuls, houses of study, Israel, last names, This is all these are all ways that the Judaism identity can fill us up. Celebrating weddings, holidays, births, even deaths, and having Shabbat each week, Rosh Chodesh each month. And I'm going to talk a little more about the modesty. Like as an identity, you could see that's a full identity. Where's room to be anything but, right? So why am I talking about identity? Because if we have a healthy identity, we don't lose ourselves. We don't lose ourselves in things that are not us. I want to talk about modesty. It's the act of having a private life as a form of art. So here we talked about Judaism as an art, the Messiah as an art, identity as an art, bodily awareness as an art. And now we're going to talk about modesty, like a sensitivity that discerns what belongs out there and what stays in here, inside. And it's a beauty through the subtlety. So what are my practices? Reading new information to feed my mind on the topics I like, journaling approximately 1.5 to 2.5 pages each day, relaxing with Kabbalah topics, meditating my body scanned in a slow motion download for 36 minutes, which became 42, and it may go up more. I think 42 is like a sweet spot. Praying, davening, which is a type of praying, praying in my own words versus praying in the words of the formulas. Singing to a song, dancing to a song, singing, it could be to a song, dancing, it could be to a song or the song in our head. Supercharging with like a hand on the heart. I do a special meditation for self-acceptance. It's about 5 minutes. I used to do it also with the sun, like the sun helps to nurture that. Artsy craftsy things, Tehillim, which is the Psalms, writing a letter page to God every day, doing affirmations, giving myself blessings, making a video with the content here where I feel supports others, and eating something nutritious, tasty, possibly, being around the groups, learning the Zohar, which is the Kabbalistic work by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, confessing, gratitude list, recognizing challenges that I'm doing good at, saying the Shema, which is the primary prayer, fundamental prayer for Jewish people, doing a mitzvah, which is a good deed, listening to inspiring class, or shir, which is like a lesson, a lecture, or a workshop, which is more like involved, participatory, exercise, charity, tzedakah, working on a project, keeping the Sabbath, keeping kosher, wearing modest clothes, not being alone with a man who's not my husband, in seclusion. Mezuzah, we do a mezuzah on the doorways, and making the blessings on the food. And what do I want to work on? Wearing more beautiful clothes. I've done, made a lot of progress there actually recently. Not trusting just any man who I like the feelings about, being cautious about eye contact, not oversharing on the phone, focusing on the Shekhinah and the inner fulfillment, Shekhinah being the indwelling divine presence, and also practicing not wanting. So this is surrender in the structure. And the final thing I want to talk about, I guess I'm doing a little bit longer video. I haven't done one in like 5 days, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 4 days. So this is the 5th day since the last one. So I'll do one more topic here, which is in the Zohar, chapter 20 of Yisro. the Parsha of Yisro. So the verse 351 says, Torah gives in darkness and fire. That's from Torah was given in darkness and fire. And the reason I'm saying this is because Yisro is the portion. He's Moses' father-in-law. Moses transmitted the Torah and the entire written Torah to the Jewish people and led them out of Egypt, out of exile. And so his father-in-law gets the honor. He was a convert from Midian. He used to be a priest of, idol worship. So he's a very important figure in Judaism. And the whole portion where the Ten Commandments was given by God directly to the Jewish people, after all the other nations said, we will follow it if we have to, but we don't want to, we're totally not interested in this kind of lifestyle. It goes against what we believe we should do and what we want in the world. So the Jewish people said, yeah, we're for sure going to do it, whatever you want. We trust you, God, that you made the world. We trust you that you know what's best. So that's what's called the chosen people, if anyone was confused. Anyway, because they chose God, they became chosen. And this is my ancestors. And then, as far as I know. And then, that's why the portion is named after Yisro, because of what a figure he was. So, in this portion, this past Tuesday night, till Thursday night, we celebrate the holiday of Shavuos, which is after 7 weeks from the leaving of Egypt. We commemorated through Passover and being saved, and all amongst tons of miracles. Then we traveled in the desert for 49 days until we got on the 50th day to getting the Torah. Now, when we got the Torah, it was the 10 Commandments, and then each commandment contained within it all the relevant Torah mitzvos and God's will. And so now I'm reading from this portion as, basically left over from Shavuos. So verse 351 of chapter 20 of the Zohar on the Parsha of Yisro, it says, in Devarim, it mentions that Torah was given in darkness and fire, because he that studies Torah is saved from the other fire of Gehenna or purgatory, and the darkness the other nations brings on Israel. Verse 352 says, Abraham said how studying Torah is preventing the two knots, Gehenna, purgatory, fire, dominion, and being subjected to the other nations. These are two knots. But if one turns from her and forgets her past, the Torah, he asks for exile instead of Gehenna fire, which is to be enslaved by other nations until we return to God our rock, who sold us. That's from Devarim 32:30. Deuteronomy 355. The deeds of Egypt mentioned 50 times. The Jubilee, which is Bina, is referencing the 50 gates of Bina. It's 50 years. Every 50 years we have a Jubilee. Here we had on the 50th day we got the Torah. So these are all related, because the side of Jubilee, the Yovel in Hebrew, everything comes. Torah from Gevurah, crowned on the... Gevurah is the left side, the left arm really. It's judgment, strength, it's severity, it's restriction, it's limits, it's appetite, it's desire and sensitivity and rulership. So it's crowned on the right. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. That's from Deuteronomy, Devarim 33, verse 2. So 356, Jubilee's child, Bina as the mother, is Zeir Anpin, or Solomon. She crowns him in Shir HaShirim, which is the Song of Songs that Solomon wrote. She's crowned with joy, love, and perfection. It's chapter 3, verse 11 in Shir HaShirim. Verse 357, the nakedness of your father, the nakedness of your mother, you shall not uncover. That's in Leviticus, Vayikra 17:7. That's Chachma and Bina, the wisdom and the understanding. Bina being understanding. Let your father and mother be glad, and let her who bore you rejoice. That's from Mishlei, Proverbs by King Solomon, chapter 23, verse 24. And verse 334, the inheritance is that you shall delight yourself above Hashem. Isaiah 58:14, Yeshaya. Keter is the Ancient of Days, the Arich Anpin. And this is the splendor where the light issues, and its crowns are drawn. In Tehillim, chapter 121, verse 1, it says, from Ayin comes my help. Nothingness. Ayin can be from nothing. It can also mean nothing. Ayin can mean like from where, but also it can mean from nothing. That nothingness is the place that upper and lower and derived from and yearn for. That place of no thingness. So I'll stop here and continue, God willing, tomorrow. And I wish you all the best. I hope you had a beautiful holiday, a beautiful Shabbos, and I wish you a great week. Bye-bye.